Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Where Did the Rest of Me Go? This is the final episode of a 30-day series where I've discussed the ups, downs, ins, and outs of how I went from 450-pound land manatee to a very modest, probably soon to wear a sundress because that's the season of 290 pounds. So, welcome. We've talked about a lot of stuff. We've talked about a lot of stuff throughout this. We started off with mindset. Our mindset is one of the key factors, and I went through how we respond to things, how we deal with things. Literally, this day, second day that I started doing this, my brother passed away, and it was one of those. It was a great example of how you can choose to respond to things. I uh, had to really be careful and do that, but like this is over decades of trying to make myself better, to understand myself better, and to become a better person, right? Both inside and out. One of the things that were a key factor in this was that we become healthy to lose weight. We don't lose weight to become healthy. It's not how it works. And throughout this, the whole idea has been that there's more to life than just a little bit. Like for me, I'm 6'2", and I know now because my head is gigantic and my hands look like clown fingers. But my shoulders are very large. I'm a big person. I always have been big. I always will be big. But the goal with me losing weight was to take control of my health, and I was at a size where mm, I couldn't even attempt to work out and become physically active because of how big I was and how dangerous that could be to my body and to everything else. And I'll be honest with you, there were times when I did stuff and I knew I was going to hurt for a couple days. Times I would shovel the driveway, things of that nature, and it would happen. Oh, the smoker turned out fantastic. I'll tell you this much. On a side note, Serge, you're absolutely right. I did. Let me see. It ended up being. It took about 6 hours. I got its temperature a little bit of a dried out, but in general, it was fantastic. So it worked out quite well. Thank you for asking. I appreciate it. I did load up shorts uh, to my channels all over the place to explain some of the stuff that happened today, but I digress. Because I would love to talk about food the whole time. Let's be honest. I have a horrible relationship with food, and I'll be honest. I definitely ate probably a pound of pork shoulder or pulled pork today, plus a bunch of vegetables and coleslaw. But I had the one meal, and that's kind of something where understanding our relationship with food and how it works. Like today is a celebration. I made a bigger one so it could feed everybody in the household, and we could do our best to enjoy it before we go on our adventure. But understanding the mindset behind all that was a huge role in everything that has gotten me to this point. Because let's be honest, nobody's perfect. It doesn't exist. And anyone who likes to think they are perfect, I do say that I'm perfect because I'm a dick. But people who really believe that either don't understand their circumstances or just have no clue who they are. And that's a horrible fate for anyone. So, with this, we talked about for a week, we talked about food and how it's really important what we put into our system versus what we put out. Like today, um, it was last weekend. Or actually, it was last Monday. I did one pork shoulder, a small one. It was about 2 pounds, uh, and it turned out okay. I did things a little bit differently. My wife said the last one was better, so that's always good to know. But I don't feel bloated. I don't feel. I ate a ridiculous amount of food. I feel good. I also work while I was smoking, I was working out the whole time, all day. Those things, let's be honest, they're not for everybody. But because of my mindset and how I understand what I'm doing now, I was able to. kind of close that gap where I could be the one in charge and working things, you know? And then in turn, like yesterday, I was saying how I felt, and I explained this to my niece because my car broke down, kind of broke down. Then there was this all sorts of stuff happened yesterday, and I'll be honest, I had a little pity party for myself. I didn't work out. I just, life is hard. That's not unreasonable. Sometimes life gets hard. Sometimes you just don't want to do stuff. That's okay. But you have to understand that have the party, feel sorry for yourself, collect yourself, strengthen yourself, and then move forward. So yesterday we went out for breakfast. I again felt like garbage. And sure enough, that has worked out so that I didn't eat from yesterday. The next time I ate was today when we had the pulled pork, which was at 3. And it was awesome. I ate like a pig. Thank you, Lorraine. I appreciate that. You know, I ate like a pig. And let me see if I can pull it up. Give me one second here because I do have a little video of the final product. Yeah, it's right here.
Okay, guys, so this is the result of all my hard work. There's the pulled pork, all the vegetables that were underneath. My wife made coleslaw yesterday, and I'll tell you.
Like I said, there was a portion of it that was a little bit dry, but ultimately, even that part was still pretty damn good. I wish I had some tzatziki. I would have used tzatziki and it would have been delicious, but I digress. So having that though made a big difference. Hey, what's happening, Trash? How you doing? Um, but that was the whole thing. And knowing that I could connect those dots made a big difference. So um, I want to tell you guys a story, 2 stories actually. So number one was I read this past week. I read a book. It was a comic. It was a graphic novel. It's called The Last Ronin. The last Ninja Turtle. That's what it's about. And one of the things that he says was there are people, creatures, teachers, warriors, heroes, and legends. And I thought to myself that every one of those is a wonderful goal, but it's exceptional when we can try and be more than one. And that's open to everyone. There's no stopping us. And I implore people to just try and be more than they are. Not more than they can be, just more than they are. The idea of growing on a daily basis has kept me going, kept me um, in a state where I could recover, in a position where I could persevere. Because there were days, like I said, I lost my brother when I first started the series. I I've lost loved ones. I've had difficult experiences, and being able to navigate through that affects everyone. And even yesterday, my wife was like, "Hey, is there something I could do for you? Because I don't feel good because the food and everything." And I was like, "I'm so stupid at this point. I'm like, I kind of want to order food and just jam more food down. More, I'll put more food on top of the bad food, and that'll make it better." No, that's crazy. But then I stop, think, you know what? No, I'm gonna wait until tomorrow. And today I feel great again. Right. So that was the first story. Second story. It's a little bit more to that. I'll try and make it brief because it's there's a lot of layers to it, but um, I had a random thing happen, and it ended up being exactly what I was looking for. So I've been reading and trying. I want to get back to reading. We're going on a trip, so I said, you know what? I'm going to get a couple books that I want to read, and sure enough, I was looking for something that my father had left me, and back in the 90s, we got all the Encyclopedia Britannica, and we got the great books. And I was like, you know what? That book might be in the great books. And I have them here. We didn't have them set up, they were just in bags. And I saw one of the bags that had the great books in it. And I said, you know what? It may have a glossary or an index of all the books. So let me just grab a random one and see, and maybe it's in there. because this is one of those historic great books, and maybe it's in there. So this is that book. Okay, this is the book right here that I found, and the book that I was looking for was the Meditations of Marcus Aurelius, and no, you can't really see it right there, but that's the random book that I picked up. Now, this is something that I have contemplated many times in my life. Is are we a pawn of fate or destiny, or are we trying to gain access to a fate or destiny, whatever you want to call it? I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. Um, oh, you guys have a thing? Sorry, guys. Uh, but that being said, was there are two ways to go through life. You can go through life with aggression and force, and that which I love it because I'm a big fat bastard and I can push people around very easily, both mentally, verbally, and physically. No issue. And then there's another way. And the other way is kind of like walking through raindrops. Seems impossible. But if you kind of let it just happen, sometimes it happens. I don't know how, I don't know why, but I feel like I've gotten to this point because I've been able to focus on doing what's right for me and listening to myself and being open to not being, oh, I'm so smart. I know what I'm talking about. Sure. Okay. We're all smart. We're all smart in our own way. I know a couple guys who are idiots, and you ask them about some subjects, and poof, will blow your mind. That doesn't mean we can't learn. Doesn't mean we can't grow, and that's really what it's come down to. Was embracing that idea that you can't get to somewhere you haven't been by doing the same thing you've always done. And one of the thoughts that my wife and I wanted to enact for the adventure we're going on was um, just to do things. Thank you very much, Rita. I really appreciate that. I appreciate your support, and you have too. And trust me, it's not easy. You know how not easy it is, but it's something that you have to work at. And that's where I'm at right now, where it's like, I don't want this to be the end of my chapter. I don't want this to be how I'm remembered. I don't want this existence that I've had. I know I can do more, right? And that's not to say that people don't or people can't or anything like that. What I'm saying is we make our own destiny on a regular basis. I do believe that, like somebody makes their own luck. Um, but I think we've all heard a parable where there was a poor man who would pray to God and ask and ask and ask and ask for to be made rich, and I need wealth, and God help me, and so on and so forth. And an angel appeared to him and says, "Okay, but you got to buy a lottery ticket at least. You got to do something, right?" And that's really comes down to it. In this, I explained how, for myself, I realized that there was no magic pill, there was no secret, there was no plan or anything like that. It was because look, any magic pill, like I have a friend who just mentioned today. I showed him pictures. I posted a picture of the pulled pork that I did, and his response was, "I'm coming over. I'm gonna bring Ozempic," and I'm like, "That's not healthy at all." But listen, if it helps him reach his goals, who am I to criticize? Right? That's not for me, but I'm a weirdo, right? So to say that there's one specific way to do anything, it's not true. What we have to do is think about what we want. What what are we willing to do? Because what we invest in, um, a lot of times, is not ourselves. We invest in other people's fast food companies, other people's companies, and we work there. Ozempic, yeah. Listen, people have been saying it's very helpful, and you know what? Good on if you're taking a proactive role in helping yourself, no one can question that, right? Um, that's the real key, right? Exactly, but make it your own. I understand that completely, right? And realistically, it's not being a chicken shit, right? Like, well, like yeah, but no, right? There's more to it, and it's that idea where if we're not going to invest in ourselves, how can we expect other people to invest in us? And that's really where it comes down to. Has been, are we willing to do it ourselves? Because nobody else is going to come in and just swoop in. I explained earlier. I know we're going a little bit long for what I normally do, but when in October, I was 400 pounds. I was taking pills from a liver specialist to try and help because I had non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, and I got down to 360 on my own, just being an idiot. I was back up to 400 in October, and sure enough, series of events played out, and I essentially tell that doctor, I'm like, hey, you need to take your pills and shove them. And best decision I ever made. And not for that is that now all the medical tests that I've been doing and everything to keep track are showing that things are going great for me. It's not because of some magic, and that's why. And that's for me. My mindset was, oh, if I'm taking a pill, I can do whatever I want. False, right? It may have helped, and maybe because I'm a dummy, it didn't work. Maybe it'll work for other people, but for me, I need that hard work. I need that understanding. I need that commitment for myself. Otherwise, it's not going to work. That's where I'm at right now. So I want to thank everyone who showed up for my final episode, and whoever watches this, please like, share, subscribe. I'm going to continue talking about this kind of stuff on as often as I can. I am leaving tomorrow for a trip with my wife, which I'll be back later on. Oh, I so my brother passed away. His best friend did the surgery probably I think 2 or 3 years ago. My mom showed me a picture and goes, "Look how good he looks. He's lost so much weight." And I said to her, "Yeah, just give him 6 months." When I saw him now, he was bigger than I ever was. Okay, okay. So what'd you learn? And he has a wife and kids and all sorts of stuff. Okay, you did the like you got it. And I was on anyone who's in Canada. I don't know if it's in the States, but there's something called the Bernstein diet. I did that when I was 19. Lost 94 pounds in 3 months. I felt great. I am in better shape now at 290 than I ever was on that diet. That's just the truth. And that's not to say that that diet didn't work because you know what? My mom lost weight and she put it all back on. Now she's done it by herself and she's doing great. Uh, I put the weight back on. I know other people have put the weight back on. It's one of those things. Sorry, I said we're all smart in our own way, bro. You haven't met some of the people. Thanks, Cole. I appreciate that. But that's it, right? And you know what? You're absolutely right, Rita. Consistency is the key. I reminded myself I had surgery too, gained it all back, now back to 185, 440. And you're tall. You probably look fantastic. I still look fat. So that's the bottom line. And I want to thank everyone for showing up. I'm going to keep on doing this stuff. I'm going to try and expand it. I'm gonna be sharing a lot of. Well, I'm gonna rub it in everyone's faces that I'm traveling and nobody else is. Let's be honest. That's definitely what I'm gonna be doing. And I'm also, just to be clear, I am going to eat like a pig the entire trip. I'm gonna try not to, but well, we're gonna try and yeah, 5'8". That's like 15 feet tall for a lady. Let's be honest, okay? You look fantastic. Don't worry. Thanks. I'm still fat though, but that's the thing is actually my arms and shoulders have started to really come in, and I'm really happy with them. My wife really loves them, but yeah, my chest is kind of like up until just my upper body, like I started to like develop like there's fat, but also too it's like, hey, look, that looks like an ab. It's very exciting. But that's the whole idea is I'm uh I have my own goal and that's what I'm trying to achieve. So it's about that's also a part of it is setting those goals. But thank you very much. I'm going to do my best. It should be pretty awesome because um, yeah, well, we're gonna. So I'm trying to convince my wife to split meals so we can like try all sorts of stuff, but I don't want to because I'm a fatso at heart. I'm yeah, eat slowly. Oh, Serge, you're a man after my own heart. That's my one of the things I covered in the beginning with food was chewing because my wife said, how many bites do you chew? And I was like, enough, so I don't choke on the food. That's it. Enough to swallow it. That's it. So we're going to the UK. We're landing in Manchester for a concert. Then we're going to Leeds for a little spa trip and to visit my niece, hopefully. And then we're going to London for a few days for adventure. I believe we're going. We The plan is to go to Harry Potter. I'm not sure if that's going to work out, but we're going to see what we can do because we've been a few times. My wife grew up there, and so I'm hoping that we can have a little adventure uh, and see some friends and family members. And it's been too long. It's been too long. But also, too, I'm looking forward to showing off the fact that I am not the size of two people. And really, it's exciting that I'm not going to be. Uh, yeah, I might. Not sure if we're going to be able to, but we're talking about it because even if we just go and come back, because she's been to Paris, I believe, and I have been to Paris. And last time she was in the UK, she went to Paris on the train and came back. So we might do that. We're going to see what happens. But yeah, it's because I've lost 160 pounds, which is like that's a full person. So I don't know. We're gonna see what happens, guys. But like I said, check out if you're watching on Facebook or Twitch. Check out YouTube as well because that's I'm also loading up stuff. Yeah, I know. I've like I'm still a big guy. Like I'll never be small. I know that, but at the same like my BMI says it's like, oh, you should be 180 pounds, and I'm like, okay, I'll be dead. But yeah, it should be a great trip because we were supposed to do that concert in 2020, and then it rolled over to 2021, and then 2022, and now they're like, okay, it's happening in May, and we're like, yeah, gotta go. So uh, yeah, it's actually it's funny right now because I've had people be like, I'm like because I see people who are much smaller than me, and I just be like, you're a bird. Like I just assume you could just sit on my shoulder for the whole day, and I would not be able to realize because you're so small. And people are like, I'm not small, and they'll say their weight, and I'm like, yeah, I weighed that much in grade 5. So which but yeah, so now I'm at a point where I've lost I would say a thin man or like it's just an adult. I've lost an adult worth of fat. Um, should be interesting. Should be an interesting tip. But that is all for me for today. I'll probably do shorts, maybe some longer videos tomorrow, just documenting my journey. And the fact that no one's gonna be shy to sit beside me on the plane, which still very weird because I had a lot of good material about me traveling that is no longer valid. So I don't know. Anyways, everyone, have a wonderful evening. If you have any questions, I'm here and I love to talk about them. But I will be back in about 10 days and we'll start up a new set. So have a wonderful evening or whatever time you're watching this, and uh, best of luck with your journey.